In this video, we bring you all there is to know about the much-loved epic fantasy series, The Witcher. We'll delve into 8 unresolved plot threads in Season 1 and show you our predictions of what might happen in the second season. Be warned, there are spoilers ahead.
This is what happens when you get old. You get unbearably crotchety and cantankerous.
Actually, I've always wanted to know.
Do witches ever retire?
Yeah, when they slow and get killed.
Number 8. Inescapable Destiny. The first season weaves a story driven by destiny, where Geralt of Rivia is drawn into the grand pursuit of Cirilla, the runaway princess of Cintra. Geralt is luckily spared from the war between Nilfgaard, the progressive empire of the southern region of the continent, and the sprawling northern kingdoms. Ever since Ciri's betrothal ceremony, where the Law of Surprise turned the daughter of the Queen of Cintra into a gift from destiny, we've been left wondering, what is Destiny's plan? Is Ciri destined to rule over the northern kingdom, or maybe even the entire continent? Number 7. The Battle at Sodden Hill. With Cintra in shambles, it looks like nothing can stop the warpath of the Nilfgaardian Empire, led by the intelligence officer Cahill and an unscrupulous mage, Fringilla. The war reaches a high point when Yennefer blows our minds by literally raining down a fiery ball of hell on the Nilfgaardian army, effectively wiping out their advanced troops. In the aftermath of the blaze, Fringilla tries to coax Yennefer over to her side, offering her a legacy of unbridled power. Yennefer ignores her tempting words and instead looks for Tissaia, her teacher, amid the ruins of the battlefield.
Not mean that you are capable of magic, balance, and control. Without them, chaos will kill you.
The battle at Sodden Hill will likely continue, and Yennefer's fate still remains uncertain as King Foltest arrives on the scene with reinforcements. Will King Foltest put his life on the line and rescue what remains of the Cintran nobility? Number 6. Ciri and Geralt finally meet. Soon after an ambush by a bunch of ghouls left him with a rather nasty love bite, an injured Geralt is carted away by Yurga in the midst of a feverish dream. In his delirium, he is urged by Vicenna, the sorceress and birth mother that abandoned Geralt as a child. He is also plagued by a harrowing vision of Renfri, his lost love, and Yennefer, the woman that stole his heart. Ciri is in better shape, having escaped the pursuit of her former friends and fellow Cintrans, who wanted to capture her for the reward offered by the Nilfgaardian army. In the midst of the magical backlash, Ciri had been engulfed by a prophetic vision. When she woke up, the Cintran gang were flung to their deaths. Zola's horse wasn't any luckier. Zola discovers the confused Ciri and offers her home as a safe refuge. By a twist of fate, Zola, who is desperate to adopt Ciri as her own child, happens to be married to Yurga. When Ciri slips out of Zola's home early the next day, a recovered Geralt arrives with Yurga and follows Ciri into the nearby woods. Geralt finally has his bittersweet meeting with Ciri. Will Geralt adopt Cirilla as his own daughter, or will he continue to run from his destiny? Number 5. Ciri's Prophecy. Season 2 of The Witcher is very likely to take us deep into the lore of Blood of Elves, the first book in the 5-part fantasy saga. Ciri will take center stage as Cahill's pursuit reaches its climax, and the prophecy she recited, known to fans of the books as Iflin's Prophecy, is finally realized. In the prophecy, we're given hints of a coming ice age, and a larger war that will likely reveal the true intentions of the White Flame, the unseen ruler of the Nilfgaardian Empire. To understand Ciri's heritage and why Elder Blood is so important, we'll have to delve into the distant past, when the elf sorceress Lara Dorren had fallen in love with a human mage, Creganon of Laud. Lara died giving birth, and Creganon passed away not long after the birth of their daughter. As an orphan, she was adopted by Sero, the Queen of Redania, and named Rhiannon. Ciri is the last descendant of Rhiannon, and the inheritor of a massive amount of magical power. Is Ciri the child of Elder Blood alluded to in Iflin's Prophecy? Number 4. Witcher Schools. Before meeting up with Ciri, Geralt had talked to his horse and BFF,
Do you mind if I hop up there with you? It's just I'm not really wearing the right kind of footwear.
Don't touch Roach.
revealing his plans to return to Kaer Morhen, a mountain stronghold where the School of the Wolf, the Witcher Academy that gave Geralt his skills, and the mutation that made human society fear him, once thrived. While there aren't any female witchers in the books, which serves as the original source material, there's still a good chance that Ciri will receive some witcher training, as part of the survival skills she'll need to live through a future filled with turmoil. Ciri will also need help gaining control of the chaos within her. She needs a guide that can help her master magical spells that will boost her fighting prowess. Since Geralt's magic can't be compared to even the weakest member of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers, it's almost certain that she'll receive instruction on use of magic from a mage that is on good terms with Geralt. Will Ciri receive a magical mutation and become a witcher? Number 3. Vilgefort's Conspiracy. The 1-to-1 matchup of Villefort and Cahill in the Battle of Sodden Hill ended in the mage's crushing defeat. Villefort ran out of chaos magic and was unable to summon his sword, having been outperformed by Cahill's amazing swordplay. A kick from Cahill sent Villefort rolling downhill where he lost consciousness. When Villefort awoke, instead of aiding an injured mage that was surrounded by a bunch of dead Nilfgaardian soldiers, he swiftly ended the man's life. Villefort's betrayal and the larger scheme behind it will come to light in the second season of The Witcher, along with the morbid history of the divided Brotherhood of Sorcerers. Why did Villefort betray the mages of the Brotherhood? Number 2. Jaskier and Geralt part ways. Let's not forget that our handsome bard and serial philanderer Jaskier has parted ways with the Witcher, bringing a premature end to their friendship after the hunt for the Green Dragon went awry, and led to yet another breakup between Yennefer and the lovelorn Witcher. Jaskier had done a lot to improve the Witcher's reputation through his melodies. Some of the tales he spun were true, and a lot were fiction, in the hopes that the Witcher could be seen as a more humane character, and maybe, in some ways, an honorable hero. Jaskier had received the brunt of the blame for all the trouble the Witcher had to deal with because of his shenanigans, and so he left in shame. We probably haven't seen the last of that mischievous bard, and perhaps Jaskier will return to stir up another bromance, which might lead to even more fun mishaps.
Oh, Geralt, thank the gods. I might live to see another day. We need to go.
Yes, Ger, you're okay.
Will the Witcher always be shunned by humankind? Number 1. Rising tension between humans and non-humans. Early on in the season, Geralt and Jaskier had a near-death encounter during a hunt for a suspected devil living in Dol Blathanna. Contrary to popular human history, the elves didn't leave their flower-filled glade to humans whilst they returned to their gilded castle. Instead, the elves were cleansed from the area by xenophobic humans, and were forced to live out the rest of their lives hiding in caves. The devil they were hunting turned out to be a Sylvan, a goat-like humanoid species. The Witcher briefly fought off the charging Sylvan before learning that he could speak, and that his name was Torque. In the middle of their fight, when Geralt had gained the upper hand, he was knocked out from behind. When Geralt and Jaskier woke up, they found themselves tied back to back. They were then vigorously tortured by Toraville, a mean-spirited female elf. Geralt was able to briefly overpower his captor with a headbutt, until the King of Elves, Filavandrel, arrived. The King of the Elves had wanted to end the lives of Geralt and Jaskier, to keep them from revealing the fact that Torque had stolen food from the humans living in the nearby hamlet of Pasoda, to help the starving elves. To everyone's surprise, Torque steps in to defend the Witcher, claiming that he's one of them, an outcast. The Sylvan reminded the Elven King that when Geralt could have taken Torque's life, he instead chose to show mercy. Filavandrel then decides to let him go. Geralt's early interaction with non-human species foreshadows future tensions between humans and non-human races. Will the non-human races side with the Nilfgaardian Empire? That's our take on what you should expect in Season 2 of The Witcher. The Witcher Season 2 is expected to air sometime between October and December of 2021. In the meantime, you can check out WitcherCon, an official virtual event led by CD Projekt Red and Netflix, covering breaking news and panel discussions on the streaming series, the video game tie-ins, all the original books, and everything Witcher related, slated for July 9th, 2021. We'll end our video here with a few parting questions. What do you think the Witcher, or the White Wolf as he is so often called, will face in his journey home? Will Geralt and Yennefer rekindle their tempestuous love? Will Ciri eventually join the Brotherhood of Sorcerers? Tell us what you think in the comments below, and please don't curse us if we missed anything. Don't forget to subscribe for all the newest updates in the world of The Witcher.